Hello Capricorn, welcome to my channel. Thank you for coming back if you're a subscriber, but if you're new to the channel, thank you for joining me and welcome. I hope you enjoy the insights here. This is a general reading. So now in the first house we have Neptune sacrifice. So the first house is everything to do with the self, your body, your vitality, and your self-oriented interests. It's also what you project to other people, what they see when they see you. So that's your personality and your characteristics. It's also how you are making your way in the world. You know, how you project yourself and how you move through the world in your daily life. So now with Neptune sacrifice coming in, this can be affecting you in a number of ways. It depends where you are in your life and so on. But with the sacrifice coming in there, it's usually sacrifice for the greater good. So you may be, sacrificing certain things for certain things that you may be wanting to do, or you are, perhaps starting a new gym regime. So your physical body requires care and attention, and you're perhaps doing without the late night socializing, and you're watching your diet, something like that. It could be that. It could also just be to do with your actual yourself, your actual appearance, and so on. You may be cutting back on a few things because you have other demands on your time or your money, your resources, and so on. It could also be that you are sort of a number of sides to this card. So it could also be that you are venturing into the unknown in some way, because the Neptune largely does represent the unknown. It could also be that you are becoming more imaginative, or sort of enjoying mystical studies, or you're dreaming a lot. Or you've got dreams and visions which you are receiving at this time. It could also be that you are enjoying, as I said, imaginative thoughts and sort of emotions, but it could also be fantasy, enchantment. There's various ways that this can come down for you. It could also just be divine inspiration as well. So you may be coming across like that to others. You may be coming across as dreamy, or imaginative, or it's yourself going through that phase. The other side of that is also perhaps because there's a veil involved when Neptune comes around. So this could be illusion of some kind. So you could be suffering from some kind of illusion, or under the illusion of something. You could be feeling slightly confused about something, or you may be going through some kind of escapist tendencies, which is escapism into addictions, or just all different types of distractions. Even victim consciousness can come in, self-sabotage. There's lots of different ways that this can manifest. On a more practical level, it can also be that you are sort of enjoying perhaps self-expression, or just enjoying the world of film, art, poetry, music, and you could even be looking fairly glamorous, or going into environments which are glamorous by nature, because all of those things are ruled by Neptune as well. Then in the second house we have Cancer, I feel. Your second house is to do with your money and your income. It's also to do with your possessions, what you own, property, real estate, and it's also to do with your self-worth and your value system, what you value yourself and in yourself, and also what you value in your surroundings and in other people. So with this coming in, you need to follow your gut feelings and your instincts when it comes to your money, perhaps how you're going to use it, where's the best place to put it, and so on. Also, your finances, your money that's coming in could be going through cycles and fluctuations of all different types. Perhaps it's to do with your career, or the work that you do. Perhaps you are busy some months and not others, and so on. You could also be looking back instead of forward at certain things. So lingering in the past, which you will need to address as well. It's fine to look at the past to learn from it, but ultimately you do need to move forward, and perhaps there are some decisions that you need to make in some way. You could also be quite emotional at this time, because the moon rules Cancer, and that is, highly emotional. You'll probably need to cultivate some resilience at this time, and use your imagination. This could be, as I said, to do with perhaps something you want to acquire, or it could be to do with property, or it could be, handling your money in an imaginative way. It could also be to do with some kind of investment. The moon rules investments of all kinds, stock exchange and so on. You may also find that you have family or domestic issues, which may need attention at this time. So that affects your income, your money, but it also affects your self-worth and your value systems. Perhaps there are things in your home or just some domestic issues that are requiring attention. Perhaps they need an investment of some sort or some kind of reorganization. There could be a female influence involved as well, or women's issues coming up. So now, one thing that's quite a common theme in your chart at this time is women's issues, transformation, and birthing of all kinds. So the themes of birthing is quite prevalent in all areas, actually. And if you are birthing, whether it's a business or you are birthing a child or any kind of birthing, it does affect a great many areas of your chart, and you'll see as we progress that this comes up again and again and again. And with Cancer, I feel this is the card of cycles of the moon, family, birthing, children. There's lots of aspects that come in, and women's issues. So that may very, very well be coming into your life in some way or some form. Then in the third house, we have yet another moon influence, the lunar eclipse change. Your third house is to do with your communication, how you communicate, and your local environment as well. So it's also to do with your communications, all forms. This can be written, verbal, body language. It also rules documents and contracts of all kinds. So this third house also rules your neighbors, your siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, those kinds of family members, your neighborhood, and it really also covers learning, and it can also cover short trips of all kinds as well. This is local trips. So now with lunar eclipse change coming in, how I feel this is a feeling, how is this feeling for you, is you could be, at this time, letting go of old habits or self-expression. And when you do that, a new perception or a new outlook comes in. It's also perhaps the way you communicate with those various family members or your neighbors. But there's changes going on. There's changes coming in. Now, they can be abrupt. It could be a really abrupt change, or it could be something that's bubbling over. So something that was already there, and you just didn't deal with it, or you couldn't deal with it. You were aware of it, but it wasn't a priority for you. Well, it's going to come out now. So something comes to the light, or it bubbles over, or there's an abrupt change of some sort. It could be, as I said, it could be something that you're aware of, but the speed of it and the shift is unexpected. But it's a necessary change that has to come in. And it could also be, as documents and contracts are covered by the third house, it could be a change of home or a change in the home, but it could be a contract to do with a new home as well. There is a feminine influence in here as well, which is coming up again. This is a repeated theme as well. Feminine or female influence. And it also, with this, whatever change that's coming in for you, once the change comes in for you, it can unfold over a 6-week to a 6-month period. So over that, once that initial shift has happened and you now have to deal with it, then it comes in. But it's shifts and cycles, changes going on with that. Memories can also come in very strongly for you. So you're thinking about the past, and as I said, something is bringing in a new perception or a new outlook, or there's some kind of shift, and this is going to change the way you express yourself and the way you are, your habits, because the moon rules your habits as well. Then in the 4th house, we have Pluto transformation. So now, if you are starting a new family, or you are involved with birthing something of some kind, your home life may change quite dramatically. We've already covered that. It's going to come up again later. Or it could be a business from home, who knows. But however it applies for you, you can bring it in. The 4th house is all to do with your home. It's your actual physical home. It's also the environment in the home, the people in your home, the atmosphere in your home. It's also your relation to your family, your roots, your foundation, your ancestral connections, your ethnic identity. So that all comes in as well. And Pluto transformation is a very powerful card. It literally does do that. It brings in transformation, but it mostly rules birth, sex, and death, and that is symbolic death. So something falls away to make way for something new. So you could be renovating, you could be relocating, you could be transforming where you currently live to make it better or to improve it in some way. It's making something new from old, something old. Something also could emerge from something old as well. So something has fallen away, it's died off, and now something new is coming out of that. It could also be that something is coming to the surface, because Pluto rules the underworld, and anything that is underneath will come up during a Pluto influence. So if you are dealing with a home, but perhaps you're relocating, you're buying a new home, or you are renovating or upgrading your current home, you need to just have a look at the foundations, the sewers, the water systems, and all of that, because something may come up to do with that as well. So have a good look at that, and just to, assure yourself that everything is as it should be. Also be careful with finances and taxes, because those are also indicated under the Pluto influence. So it generally is a transformation of some sort, but those other issues can come in as well with this card. Then in the 5th house, we have Taurus, I have. So now, the 5th house covers children, whether they're yours or somebody else's, but it's your, your association with them in some way. If you don't have children, then it can also cover creativity. So these are all your creative projects, or it could just be your own personal creativity in everything that you do, which is not necessarily artistic abilities. This is creativity, and it can manifest in 100 different ways. You can be creative with figures. You can be creative with the way you dress, or the way you do your children's parties, or the way you speak. There's lots of ways that you can bring creativity in. The 5th house also covers love affairs, and it covers recreational activities of all kinds. So whether that's fun loving activities, or just general fun activities, but it implies outdoors, and also clubs of all kinds. Sports come in with this as well. And also a little bit of risk-taking may come in as well. Some kind of risky undertaking, sort of like gambling, is a recreational activity. So now with Taurus, I have coming in, this is a very stabilizing influence. So it's a very nice influence to have. It brings in things like home comforts, stability, practicality. It's also about accumulating funds and accumulating possessions. So that can be applied, to your relationship with your children. It can apply to a creative endeavor that you're busy with, or the way you are using your creativity. It can also come in as having a very sensual relationship with your lover. So this, as I said, covers a love affair. So it could be a very sensual relationship coming in for you there. Also with this card, the arts are indicated. So that's music, singing, plays, concerts, ballet, all kinds of activities. So this could be a recreation activity that you're either taking part in, or your children are taking part in, or you are enjoying these activities. Perhaps you're going out with a group of friends. But it's fun and recreational activities coming in, and Taurus brings in all of those artistic things. But it's a very positive, very supportive energy coming in for you in your 5th house. Then in the 6th house, we have Uranus Genius. 6th house is your house of work, your work colleagues, your workplace, and your work projects that you're busy with. So even if you don't work in an office of any kind, you work on your own, it covers your work projects, whatever you're doing. It also covers mastery of your craft, whatever's your speciality. This house also covers your health and your diet, and it's also the house of pets. So now, with this card coming in, you can apply it in whichever way works for you. But the Uranus Genius side of things coming in is, Uranus is a very unpredictable planet. It can be very erratic. So what it's coming in is, it's like a lightning strike that comes in, which can cause an upheaval. But it can also be about waking up to something, waking up or realizing something. It's a sudden thing. It's a sudden realization or an idea that you might get. You could have a shock or a shake-up of some kind, or just a surprise. There's something unexpected about it. As I said, it has an erratic energy, so things could be up and down. You never know what's going to go on. There's also a very unconventional aspect that comes in with Uranus. So whatever's going on in any one of those areas, it could be unconventional, something you're trying. This card can also bring in liberation of some sort. So that's liberating you from something which perhaps has been difficult. And that may be very quick and very sudden that comes in. Or it could just be you realizing something and moving on. It can also bring a bit of rebellion in as well, like restlessness and craving of moving on from where you are, or just breaking free. This card can also bring in people who are very, very different from you. They've got a different background, different sexuality, or they're just different. They've got different points of view. They think differently. So you could be coming into contact with them in your workplace. They can be quite bohemian as well. Or it could be cutting-edge people. These are very technologically advanced people, because Uranus brings that in as well. So Uranus is all about the future and futuristic tech. So if that's not your bag, then it could just be an upgrade of your current technology that you're using, whether it's a camera or a cell phone. Any kind of tech upgrade comes in with this card. This card is also, because it's genius that comes in, it can also be the card of invention and very original work or ideas. Or you could just be very original in who you are, in your self-expression. When it comes to health and diet, I feel that possibly you could be needing to make some kind of really quite drastic change in lifestyle, or it could just be a need and a want that you want to do, and you're bringing in a change of lifestyle. And you could also be, if there's treatment required for something that you need, you may be going the unconventional route. That may come in for you. But you may have to also do research, because that also comes in with this card. So all of those aspects could be coming in for you. But it really does bring in change, this card. It's quick, sudden change. In the 7th house, we have Scorpio, I transform. So your 7th house is your house of personal one-on-one relationships, whether this is between you and a love partner, or you and just a business partner. Or it could just be your relationship, a one-on-one relationship with somebody else that is really close to you at this time. So now, with this card coming in, this is bringing in, well, it can bring in several things. It depends on how it's applying for you, but it's about renewal. It's about regeneration after a difficult period. So that could be an existing relationship which is now going through this regeneration. But you're going to have to be resourceful about how you apply, how you make the changes, how you actually tackle this period as well. It's also about deeper sexuality and a very transformative relationship. And it's also, it could also be a very transformative partnership that you're going in, whether it's, if it's a business partnership. But whatever it is, it's deep, and it really is going to transform the way you think and how you operate in that partnership. Money comes in with this card as well, but it's money to do with the past. So this could be inheritance or a legacy or some kind of something to do with the past. You may also at this time be feeling disconnected from others or from your partner. You could be working through a few things on your own. It may be necessary to do that. So there's deep self-analysis in there. A few secrets may be coming out, or you may just be facing some really well-hidden emotions or things that you just haven't addressed before. And that may be necessary in the relationship to, whether it's a new one or an existing one, to bring about transformation, which is necessary to move forward. Then in the 8th house, we have Grand Trine blessings. The 8th house is your house of your deeper emotional and material resources in a relationship and also in a partnership. So that could be a business partnership. So it's the deeper connection in there. It's also deeper sexuality if it is a love relationship. But it's the merging of your selves into this relationship and everything you bring in with you as well. The 8th house is also the house of other people's money. So whether that's your partner's money or just you are in a profession which deals with other people's money. This house is also the house of big finance. So it's investments, insurances, tax, accounting, banking, investments, legacies and inheritances coming up again. So now with the Grand Trine blessings coming in, this is going to help you hugely, because blocks or hurdles that you have been facing will be lifted away or will simply melt away. And you're going to be feeling a sense of relief, a sense of flow. There's harmony with this card coming in as well, and also completion. So if you've been through a difficult period and now you've come to the point where you've managed to sort things out, issues have been resolved between you and so on, then that is completion and harmony coming in. There'll be less resistance as well. But this could just be you in a financial environment as well. Perhaps you are now having some relief from difficulties that you've had and things are starting to flow. It's also about being right place, right time. So some opportunity could come to you, which you can now take advantage of. You can't coast with this card. So once the harmony and the feeling of flow comes in for you, you can't sit back and just let it wash over you. You do still need to work at things. You can't coast because an opportunity may come and you'll need to grab it. So you still need to be alert. But there is that sense of relief and flow which is coming to you at this time. This card also can make you well received in financial situations. So you could be asking for a loan or something of that nature. And, as I said, blessings are available to you at this time. Then in the 9th house, we have Yod Destiny. The 9th house is quite a broad house. It covers a number of things, but it's basically you meeting the world or the world coming to you in some way. So this could be international travel, adventure, exploration. It's anything to do with foreign things or foreign people or foreign concepts. It could be import, export, if you've got a business in that. It could also be reaching a wider audience, and that is through public relations or publishing or, dealing with the public in various ways. This house also covers higher education, so that's university level or adult education. It's also about philosophy, religion, and belief systems of all kinds. This ninth house also covers the law and prophecy and teaching. Teaching comes in very strongly with the ninth house as well. So it really is, it covers a wide area. So now with this this card coming in, there is going to be some pressure on you. It's a very hard pointed angle coming down on you, and this can manifest in a number of ways. But it really is about working on your own with something. You're going to be weathering all the ups and downs with that, but it's about toiling away on something where you may not have much support or guidance or advice, and you really don't need it actually, because your inner self knows what to do. This working on your own situation is necessary in order for you to find your truth or to find your path in whatever it is that you're doing in the ninth house. It's almost like a pioneering energy, this. So you are under pressure. It's very pointed, it's very specific, but it's about you working with these energies to reach a result. So now some sacrifices may be required along the way, which is part of pioneering. So a lot of time, a lot of effort, working on your own, trying different things to find what works. But this card also is about making a difference with what you do. So whatever it is that you're tackling is going to make a difference in the end. And that is the purpose of this pressure, because it is a destiny card. So it's about finding your path as well, and you will be pushed in that direction. But international travel, as I said, may come in for you in this as well, and it may be connected to what you're doing. But it may be also a trip to learn or to further your studies in certain areas as well. That may come in for you. Then in the 10th house, we have Jupiter return benefits. Your 10th house is everything to do with your career, your ambitions. It's also to do with authority figures. It's also your fame and your reputation and your public status. So with Jupiter return benefits coming in, it's a lovely card, very beneficial card to be coming in. It's a return. So Jupiter does a full revolution every 12 years. So now this is brings in something called earned luck. So this is a lucky break, but it's come from your preparation and your diligence with what you've been doing, and it may have been over a long period of time. So something bears fruit from long ago. It could be an old dream that you had, or an old business that didn't quite take off, or it could be an old idea or an old plan. Something bears fruit from the past, and bear in mind it could be sort of a decade or 12 years ago at least. But in any case, doors open. It's the green light, and this is the yes card. So you may just be needing that to move forward with something. It indicates good fortune. And it can also just be divine assistance with something. So help comes to you when you really need it. It's about faith. It's about optimism, gratitude, and generosity. All of these come in with this card as well. You won't be able to just sit back and let things roll around you. You still need to work at it, because this will bring in opportunities or a benefit of some kind, but you need to actually work with it, because the Jupiter return is fairly quick. The thing will not, or the opportunity or the benefit that's coming to you will not be there for very long. So you will need to look at all things that come to you, all opportunities, look at all the benefits, follow them up, follow the paths, and keep going with it. And try all the different things that are coming to you at this time. It may be one specific thing, but it could be a variety of things. But you need to actually work at them to find the benefit, to find the reward in that particular opportunity. Then in the 11th house, we have Mercury mind. The 11th house is the house of friendships, and it's also the house of your personal hopes and dreams, your wishes for the future, your hobbies and your interests, your personal hobbies and interests. It's also the house of social groups and groups of all kinds. So that can be an online group or a book club or some kind of association or society or a club, any kind of club, could even be a sports club that you're a member of. But it's you in amongst others in an association or some kind of group setting. So now with Mercury mind coming in, what this is telling you is that your words are going to be very, very important. You need to think things through before you blurt out what you want to say. So think things through and be very clear about what you're saying. You really need to, and this can be written as well as verbal, all right? So avoid glibness and getting into arguments with people, because that could come up as well. That is the reckless side of the Mercury aspect. You really want to think things through and then speak or write down what it is you are wanting to say. You need to use reasoning, observation, curiosity. You need to be curious about what's going on, and also humor. You may need to use humor with what you're saying to others. You may also need to be adaptable in these group situations as well, because Mercury is that. Travel could be indicated as well. Mercury is a messenger of the gods, but travel does come in. You could be receiving a message of some sort that could come through a friendship, or you may have to deliver a message of some kind. But it's also, it could come in the form of gossip, or a scandal could come in for some, to do with something. Perhaps it's to do with a friend or somebody that you know in a group setting. So just be discerning about the information that you're passing on or what you're saying about that. Rather, as I said, think things through and be careful what you say at this time. Then in the 12th house, we have the moon and the soul coming in. So the 12th house is the house of the unconscious. It's the house of your unconscious drives and motivations. It's also the house of spirituality, your spiritual life, your meditation, mysticism, healing, all of those sorts of things. And it can be the house of retreat as well, or reflection. And it brings in aspects of escapism as well, and addictions. It could also be the house of endings of some sort. And it can also be your experiences in institutions of all kinds. So whether this is hospitals, universities, libraries, prisons even, or government institutions, government departments, banks, any kind of institution. So it could be your experiences there as well, what you go through while you're busy there. And with the Moon Soul card coming in, as I said, birthing is coming up again. It's come up quite a few times already. So whether this is you birthing some aspect of yourself which you haven't perhaps sort of harnessed as yet, or whether this is physical birthing as in the female giving birth, or whether this is you birthing a new idea or a new way of doing things. But in any case, old issues and habits will come up as well. So it can also be hidden feelings as well. So it's looking at all of those. That's where the reflection comes in with the 12th house. But the old issues and the habits need to be looked at and released, and you need to adopt new or better ways of doing things, or better approaches and attitudes to things. You could also be having incredible dream life, or be, really having very colorful or informative dreams at this time. With this card also comes in moodiness, cycles and fluctuations of all kinds. You could be feeling restless and distracted. As I said, birthing comes in, woman's wisdom, woman's issues, but deep sensitivity, deep feelings, instincts are going to be stirred in some way, and also insecurities may also be stirred as well. This card can also bring in crowds of all kinds as well, and possibly somebody from the past comes back to see you or visit you, or you meet them again. So there you go, Capricorn. I hope you have a wonderful month. Very interesting spread, and Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care until next time.